Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Idra and QXC, this time in the Xel'Naga Caverns. We have Idra spawning over here on the north side of the map as the blue Zerg player. Meanwhile, on the south side of Xel'Naga Caverns, we have QXC spawning as the red Terran. Terran versus Zerg, one of the interesting matchups I wanted to cast with 1.1.2 patch already released. So looking forward to this game. Saw game 1 on Metalopolis. If you haven't seen it already, I suggest you watch my games in order. After a couple times, I will start referring to my previous games, but I'm not 100% sure if this is a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, or just a couple random games that these guys decided to play. QXC placing a supply depot over here on the on the high ground, and then we'll most likely be placing a barracks here in just a moment. A lot of players were concerned about getting 6-pooled, especially on a 1v1 map here. It obviously does not look like Idra is going for a 6-pool, as he is currently sitting on 13 harvesters. What I am curious to see is whether he will go for a 14 or 16 hatchery very, very early in the game, or if he will open with a standard 14 spawning pool. The walking distances between these two bases are fairly small, so both are a viable option. We now see an SCV making its way to the north, and do we see a drone being saved up? No, we have an extractor already down. So Idra getting an extractor already down will be getting a spawning pool in just a second as well. And as that spawning pool comes into play, this one Stevie, the SCV, went all the way up here for nothing as it dances back and forth on patrol, trying to make sure that there are no drones trying to grow up to be a hatchery here. So very nicely done so far by Idra. Idra, I guess just outsmarting QXC. QXC just thinks that there is going to be an early hatchery, but there isn't one. So he needs to come up this ramp in order to quickly spot that there is a spawning pool, and it's going to be very early metabolic boost lings. We now see a marine currently being trained as well. Most likely we will see a supply depot here, followed by a tech lab or a reactor in just a moment as we are upgrading to tier 2. One drone will be making its way up this ramp. However, as that drone makes its way up that ramp, it will get shot in the back with a Gauss rifle. There it goes. And now a marine on the move. No, not even on the move, just letting that drone walk around on the inside of this base. Not quite sure what QXC is thinking. He is not microing inside his base, as now QXC sees that there is a spawning pool here and an extractor. The spawning pool now has that shimmering effect to let you know that the metabolic boost is currently being researched, and one drone down to 11 hit points will get shot down very easily. No, gonna grow up to be an extractor instead. So Idra doing the extractor trick instead, and will be able to deny gas for quite some time. QXC will be forced to most likely build a second barracks. And even just because he's only running off of one gas so far, we now see one SCV trying to run away from 2 Zerglings. Those Zerglings will be able to get in a peck or two as that SCV tries to run away. We now see 2 Marines continuing to just try to shoot down this extractor. The extractor, however, has not been canceled and will get taken down, so that is a loss of 25 minerals there. We do see one SCV trying to make its way up the ramp, and will it be able to hide itself right here. And very, very nicely done, down to 5 hit points, and now going to have a supply depot lowered. And this SCV has never been happier to see all of his brothers continuing to mine minerals. Back over here, we now see a hatchery being placed down by Idra. So Idra getting I believe what was about a 22 hatchery so far. We also see a bunker being placed down. So a bunker being placed here, and that is a little bit of an odd position for that bunker. I believe if banelings were to come in through this door, they would just be able to just simply run south and run straight into the mineral line. After all those Zerglings behind it would simply be able to run straight through. However, with double Hellions now being trained up by QXC, I'm assuming that he does not have to worry about it. Yeah, building a bunker and then salvaging it right away. So that was a little bit of a curious maneuver. Most likely, I believe when you salvage a building, you get all of the minerals back. If you cancel a building while it's being built, you do not get all of its minerals. So I'll have to do a little bit of a check on that, but that's the only reason why I would assume QXC did not try to salvage or cancel that one right there. We do see now 2 Hellions making their way to the north, and there's only one queen trying to offer protection. And now is it going to be able to get down that spine crawler, going after some of those drones? The Hellions, if they're able to line up against that spine crawler, get some splash damage and hit the queen, that would be absolutely huge. And now will these Hellions be able to run up and try to get onto this ramp? No, unable to. Zerglings do have that metabolic boost, and now going after one drone there. One drone has been taken down, and now continuing to get more and more spawn larvae as these Hellions decide to pull back here. More Hellions continuing to join on this fight as QXC able to get enough minerals for an expansion. So now we see QXC with the command center floating off into position, and now this one spine crawler will be able to get in position, start slashing away at these Hellions, start impaling them with that impaler tentacle, and I believe this Hellion harassment has pretty much been neutralized. We also see a Spire being built by Idra, so Idra now going for a Spire, and it should be pretty effective. I've wanted to see Idra go for roaches, but I have not seen Idra go for a single roach just quite yet, as these Hellions now trying to torch and get some more kills onto some more of these Zerglings. And now once again these Hellions just continuing to do a lot of splash damage. Idra now trying to go after some of those units here, perhaps trying to go for another drone. There we go, continuing to get more splash damage in, very nicely done. And a lot of those Hellions are low on hit points. An SCV or a mule needs to be called into play to try to repair all of these units. Most likely we'll just run all the way home and get repaired by a couple of these SCVs on the low ground. We also see a medevac in the air, so we have what, 4 Marines and 1 Hellion in that cargo bay as this group tries to do a drop. However, it will not be effective, as Idra has 2 overlords over here on the south side of his base offering sight into it. Over here we now see a couple Zerglings running straight into their death with that flamethrower, just torching them oh so easily. And now finally this very slow moving medevac with a movement speed of 2.5 now, trying to come into the base. It will not be, even if it drops into this position, will Idra see the mini-map in time? Will any units try to run up the ramp? It does not look like Idra has responded to this drop just quite yet. No, drones now trying to pull back here, and now we see some Marines coming in and being stimmed as well. Zerglings in position here, and very nicely done. These Marines are positioned in such a way so that it is very difficult. This medevac needs to pull back in order to stay away from that range of 7 Queen, and now this spawning pool may get taken down, and that is a very key tech building, as Idra needs that spawning pool desperately. We do see some drones now making their way back over, and now some Zerglings trying to come in position as well. We do see 1 Marine trying to come in, but also Mutalisk in the air, more torching from that 1 Hellion. As those units continue to splash more and more damage, we do see 2 Marines left, 1 Marine left in that fight, trying to fight back against all these units. And now this Hellion just continuing to get as many kills as possible, down to, or sitting on 6 kills so far. So this drop has been fairly successful, and also took a lot of the micro from Idra. So Idra stopping his mining for quite some time on that north side. Now we see, taking a look at the harvester count, we have 38 harvesters for QXC. Idra sitting at 35. However, the mules giving QXC a stronger advantage here. We now see, what, 4 Mutalisks in play, trying to fly around the map, and we do see, what, two Thors already in position, and very nicely done. 2 Thors with 2 rounds of javelin missiles, almost taking down one of the Mutalisks already. So you can see that the Mutalisk down to 27 hit points as it decides to pull back. We also have 1 Raven in the air, and that Raven most likely there for that point defense drone. Point defense drone does kind of shut down these Mutalisks for quite some time. Mutalisks attack at a speed of 1.52, so it does take quite some time for all of these Mutalisks in order to deplete the energy of a point defense drone. On top of that, one of the things that you got to be considerate, or you got to consider when you take a look at a Mutalisk, is the Glaive Worm's bounce attack. Just because the initial attack is 9 damage doesn't mean, or now 10 damage, it doesn't mean that it only does 10 damage every 1.52 seconds. I believe the additional bounce is 963. I'll have to double check those numbers for you guys, but if you think about that, that means that these Mutalisks, its damage per second is almost close to 10, as opposed to just slightly less. And now in comes that one medevac. That medevac quickly getting taken down. So all of these Marines unable to offer any additional support. We do have 1 Raven in the air, and we also have a couple Hellions on the ground as well. Those Hellions do not have the Infernal Pre-Igniter research. With that production tab, we have a Seeker missile now being trained. I have not seen Seeker missiles used ever since the beta, so I am very curious as to how QXC is going to use these Seeker missiles. Seeker missiles take 125 energy, so that is indeed a lot of energy, and also move very slowly. So if those Mutalisks and try to come into position, will that 1 Marine, no, a Marine unable to take down that last Mutalisk. Mutalisk was down to 1 life, and now those Mutalisk flying straight into the main base here. We do have 1 missile turret, and now the level 1, finally the level 1 vehicle plating upgrade here, so those stores will take reduced damage. Finally, in comes a missile turret, able to get off a couple quick shots there, and a round of javelin missiles. However, this supply depot most likely will burn to a crisp and fall down, because this 1 SCV not doing its job. Another group of Hellions over here, and now in comes another Thor. So another Thor trying to get another splash of attack. However, those Mutalisks moving much more quickly, and now Hellions moving straight into the base here. We do see some Banelings already in the position, and now 1 Hellion getting caught out of position with those Glaive Worms. we do have a quick scanner sweep revealing all of these banelings and these zerglings. So QXC does not want to engage, just trying to use this high ground instead. We do see a couple of these stores sitting over here, and now what is this one unit? One Zergling trying to offer as much sight as possible. One Marine sitting here as well, trying to activate or keep the Xel'Naga Watchtower in play as a second Raven now in the air. One Raven, maximum energy, a second Raven sitting at 90, so it will be able to get a point defense drone or a Seeker missile in just a moment as well. In comes one Zergling, however, the Zergling will get shot down by that Marine there as these group of units now moving out. We do see a lot of Mutalisks coming in here, and most likely it will be flanked from behind. So these Ravens are quickly going to catch this in sight. Are we going to get a Seeker missile drop? No Seeker missile drop. There we go. In comes that Seeker missile. However, it will splash a lot of these own units there, and splashing a lot of those own Terran units. So a lot of damage was dealt. Mutalisks now in the air, and we also see a point defense drone, and I think that the Seeker missile did more damage to his own units own units. However, Idra did say GG after sorry, no, I need to rewind that just to make sure. Alright, so in comes these group of Mutalisks here. In comes that group of Mutalisks, and one Seeker missile able to deal not that much damage. It was just that the fact that the point defense drone was in the air, intercepting a lot of the attack here, and now with three Thors in the air, able to finish that whole entire fight. That whole entire sequence was so fast. I need to see it one more time. So there we go. In comes that Seeker missile, and now I believe that Seeker missile did deal a lot of damage. It got some of those banelings as well. So by getting some of those banelings, it reduced the amount of damage that those Marines were able to take. So that splash damage able to get some of those banelings there, and that's why in transition, and the Seeker missile was actually more effective against those Zerglings and those banelings instead. However, the 1 point defense drone quickly getting depleted. I believe if the other Raven had dropped, if the Ravens had just decided to drop 3 point defense drones, those Thors would have been able to easily take care of the rest of the Mutalisks, and then the Marines would have been able to finish off the Zerglings and the banelings. I'm not 100% sure how that fight would have carried out. I'm still having a little bit of a still trying to figure out if a Hunter Seeker missiles or those Seeker missiles are better for a Terran in a Zerg versus a Terran matchup, or a point defense drone to try to intercept the attack. I think either way, and because of these Ravens, QXC was able to take the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the second game here in the Xel'Naga Caverns between Idra and QXC.